start. Yeah. So Bastian Günther, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Great.
It was a long night. We had the premiere yesterday. Mm-hmm. So, and of course, a little party afterwards.
Nice.
So,
a long couple of drinks?
No.
Fair enough.
No.
Okay. The Wolf team doesn't drink, I heard.
No.
So, why do you think audiences will enjoy checking out your movie one of these days?
Well, I hope they will.
Right.
And I think what's entertaining about this film is that it's a very open film. It doesn't tell the audience what to think or what to feel, but you have to put a lot of your own thoughts in it, and this can be actually very entertaining if you engage with the film.
Huh.
And so we have, of course, a lot of funny moments in the film, and there's a tension, a suspense, because there's a competition, so who will win the competition? So there are also these, let's call it classic entertaining moments.
Sure.
But for me it's more important that people really engage with the film and put their own work into the film. And even when they leave the cinema, still think and talk about the film.
Okay.
So that's my take on an entertaining movie. That's what I like about movies.
Cool. Okay, so when did you get intrigued by the American South?
Well, my wife is from the US, and so we live part-time in Texas. And it's just very interesting for me as an outsider to see what's going on, and it's basically universal, but so many things are just so more visible and stronger visible in the US. But let's take this competition, for instance. For me, this competition reflects basically the system in what we live. It's a system where it's kind of a natural selection. It's the underprivileged serve as an entertainment for the privileged.
Okay. Sure.
And it's about unequal spread of wealth and perspectives. This is all in this 10 square meters of the competition. This is such a small space, but it tells so much about how we live. And this interested me.
One can't help but draw parallels between your film and Wim Wenders' great film, Paris, Texas. In that it's a German doing, pure Americana. So what do you think about that comparison? Does it bug you, or do you like it?
I wouldn't compare it, actually. I did a film before called Houston, and some people compared this to Paris, Texas as well.
I'm sure just in a superficial way. It's hard not to do.
Yeah. I think it's a very different kind of filmmaking. I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's just a very different kind of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And I think Wim Wenders is very inspired by Americana, by Hopper, by certain images. Whereas I am, because I also lived there part-time.
Right.
I'm still an outsider, but I'm also close enough to the people that...
you interpret it a little bit more realistically, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how many cast members were cast authentically? They didn't come from an acting background? Because some of them look really like salt of the earth.
Yeah, they're all actors.
They're all actors?
They're all actors.
Oh, wow.
But our goal was to only cast actors from the South, because this was my main goal, to only have actors or characters in the film who speak the Southern accent. I wanted to have one organic crew, and I wanted to tell a small town story. So it wouldn't have worked if somebody comes with an accent from the Midwest, let's say. So only Joe, who's British, needed to learn the Texas accent, so we had a dialect coach on set and everything. But everybody else is from the South.
Okay.
And this was crucial for me.
Okay, interesting. So do you enjoy spending time at the Berlinale? Do you like film festivals in general?
Yeah, if I can watch films, then yeah. No, I do. I enjoy it,
It's busy, but
it's busy.
But do you like the energy? Do you feed off of it?
No, I actually try to stay away from the
frenzy elements.
I just if when I have no film in the festival, then I just try to go into movies and watch movies and stay away from the crowds.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like to watch movies. So
movies are great. What are your effects? I know you don't want to make an explicit message in your movie. You would rather people bring their own meanings or investments to the door. But what do you think about the deindustrialization of many working class areas in North America and in Europe too?
Yeah. I mean, that's also is a universal problem. It's everywhere, and it is an American film, but it speaks to so many countries and continents. And I mean, right now in Germany we have a big problem with right-wing parties and politics, and people voting. A lot of people voting for right-wing parties, which comes often out of deep frustration. People are frustrated with politics. They have no, especially in areas where there's nothing going on, what you just mentioned.
Right.
And that's also a message of the film. If we don't come up with an idea how to spread wealth or perspectives or education equally, then we will have this problem. It won't go away because people are frustrated, and I'm actually not surprised by it, and we at some point really have to change, I guess, the system, or politicians. Being a politic could be such a creative job, but I sense so much fear and hesitance. It's actually sad.
Yeah, it's too bad to see, this far-right movements in Europe and North America. I see it in Canada too. People might think of Canada as nicer or quaker, but it's got that primalness that we're seeing all over the place. And I haven't been in Europe since 2003, so coming here, it's kind of interesting to see how similar they are with what's going on in North America. So. So do you view yourself? You don't view yourself as like a Wim Wenders outsider looking in, but you are German as well. You what did you make the move to America? Do you think that your Germanness has some sort of different interpretive quality when it comes to Southern American Southern stories?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I'm still an outsider, and I will stay an outsider. I wasn't born there. I didn't grow up there. So. But actually, I think that's the interesting thing also for Americans to suddenly watch a film about their country or about the South, but made by somebody who didn't grow up there or just spent the last 10 years there. So they are very often really surprised what I see, what's just normal for them. At some point you become blind for your daily environment. That happens to me here in Berlin. I would really have trouble to just put a camera on a tripod and film Berlin in an interesting way.
But are you from Berlin, or where are you from?
I'm from the western part of Germany, but I live here now for 20 years. So.
But what was your town like that you grew up in? Was it a small
town?
Small working class, almost like the deindustrialized American South?
No, it was. It was not so much working class. I mean, it is working class, but it's not like, it was a good town. People had a good life there, but it was super small.
Right. When were you born? What time period is this? The 70s? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So, one thing that the sort of a vibe from your movie that I got was the Wim Wenders superficially, but more from the American point of view, I was really thinking of Mike Judge. Do you like Mike Judge? I was thinking some of the characters are sort of idiosyncratic, like Kid in the Hill, and there was
Huck and Randy. You're referring to these two guys,
and not only Kid in the Hill, but also sort of some of this economic things we're talking about. It was almost like Office Space. So what do you think of that comparison to Mike Judge?
I'm actually not so familiar with his stuff, I have to admit. So I can't really answer this question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's something to check out.
Yeah. Okay.
Office Space is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
just
good.
Recently, a friend mentioned it to me. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And then King of the Hill is. I never really grew up enjoying it very much, but you know, I guess you have a fondness for anything that was a part of you, you know, in your youth to an extent. So, would you say you do have like a hidden or like buried message with this film, or what can you say subtextually about the project?
I mean, it's maybe not even so hidden. I think people really get it. It's about our capitalistic system. That's pretty obvious.
Right.
But let's say the last part of the film where we go back in time and we watch Kyle and his life.
Yeah.
We could have made it. We could have much more explained in dialogues what his life looks like and what his problem is, and maybe come up with potential reasons why he did what he did. But I didn't want this. I wanted just the audience to follow him, to watch him, and not the filmmaker to tell the audience, okay, these might be maybe the reasons why he did what he did.
Yeah.
I want them to put
Feel
an effort
something.
in it and think about it, because then I think the film becomes much stronger and bigger when you have to think about it and put your own thoughts in it. So, and we had even one or two scenes that were a little bit explaining more things, and pretty soon already in or early on in the editing process, I didn't like it. It was almost like the film broke in the end when these two scenes came that explained a little bit what was maybe going on with him.
Yeah.
It made it weaker.
Exposition.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
And so I took it out, and as soon as it was out, it was just a poetic flow, a stream.
Yeah.
And you just go with it, and you just...
It's so different than the rest of the movie.
Right.
And I love that it comes down to the car. You know, that pissed him off so much that his car couldn't start.
Yeah.
And then he has to go on that long walk.
Right.
And like you're saying, like the visual way of telling stories. So
yeah.
But it's like the movie does seem very literal. And then it has this like poetic, like an epilogue.
Right.
Sort of. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And as you said, it's very different from the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And this was very important to me, that it has this meditative mood and long shots and a little bit more soundtrack in the last part. The rest is kind of... The competition is almost like cinema verite. There's no music. It's very documentary style most of the time. And then in the end it becomes like a very fluent thing with a little bit more sound design, a little bit more music.
It's a little trippy.
Yeah.
So, for the rest of the movie, though, you said Mike Judge wasn't the inspiration. I thought I had you there, but I'm screwing around. But who are some American, specifically like Southern, like filmmakers that inspired you, or movies that take place in the South?
Okay, it's more the experience, but I really love Kelly Reichardt. She's not from the South, but I love her films and her pacing, the simplicity, how she tells a story. This really speaks to me. So that's really a great filmmaker. But regarding the South, I think it's more about my own experience.
Your sensibility,
Yeah, because not sure that you can put a style onto a certain region.
Sure.
I also really like the Mexican cinema. I like Ray Gardas a lot. I like the Japanese cinema. I like Takeshi Kitano a lot.
Incredible.
So I think I have different influences from different continents.
All right.
And I wouldn't say it's now especially the South or a Southern filmmaker that influenced me. One film that I love is Ballast by Lance Hammer.
Okay, I don't know that one.
This film won Sundance in 2009, and it takes place in the Mississippi Delta.
Okay.
And this is one of the best films that I have seen in the last 20 years.
Wow.
You have to check it out. It's
I'm gonna have to, yeah, for sure.
It's a wonderful film. It was also at the Berlinale right after it won Sundance, and it's a beautiful film.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. It's much appreciated. Can you give me a tease for what you have planned after the Berlinale?
Well, after the Berlinale, we go to South by Southwest.
Oh, cool.
The film will screen there.
Okay.
And then we take it from there, I guess. What happens next with the film.
What a perfect place to show this movie, in Texas.
It's perfect. I lived there too.
Yeah.
And it's a Texas story. So I'm very curious and about the reactions.
It's almost more important that they like it than people in Berlin like it.
Oh, and I experience it so often with my films and different Q&As in different countries. They're so different. It's so different, and it can be so interesting to see suddenly people are talking about music or referencing to music and talking about progressive rock music when they talk about your film. And other Q&As are very dry and very question about one scene or one character, and others are very creative and which I really like.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.